What is the opposite of fear? It's about finding something worth changing and then gather a small group of people to change it, like Cola Life did, like Nelson Mandela. The opposite of fear is also about the art of creating something out of nothing. It's understanding that Margaret Mead was right. Never doubt a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world, and indeed it is the only thing that ever has. The opposite of fear is knowing that even though you may not have any financial resources, and at times you may feel all alone, but if you focus on something worth changing, if you understand what your purpose and your passion is, you can make something happen. And this is the story of Leaders Cafe and how Leaders Cafe has come about because of a small number of people following the purpose and the passion, of how a small group of people came together to try to help 20 million people by 2020 to raise their leadership aspirations. And this is done by helping them to access high value but low cost of leadership learning. And how are we doing that? Very simple. What we are doing is helping people to get equivalent to 20 days of leadership learning, but instead of paying anything between £3,500 to £5,000 for in-classroom based training, Leaders Cafe is offering the same learning using modern day technology via webinars for a lot less than that, less than £100. And the Leaders Cafe stories is exactly what I said earlier. There was no money, there was no resources, and so it was very risky. And so it would have been very easy to give in to the fear factors. But the amazing thing is that the small number of people that got together knew it can't possibly work, but they went ahead and did it anyway. And so what we did was we used social media. Social media, I believe, is a great platform now for people to not feel on their own. That you can use social media to gather a group of people around the world, because that is what social media is good for. And that's what we did. We began sharing the Leaders Cafe story. We began talking about what leadership should be. So we began sharing our mission. And the result of that was a lot of relevant conversations about why we're doing what we're doing and what we're doing. And we began to make connections all around the world. And that's because we began to understand that outcomes ultimately comes from intentions. Because we can change our behavior in the short term to get the outcome, but to get the outcome in the long term, we need to pay attention to our intentions, which leads to feelings and thoughts. We needed to understand what our intention was behind our purpose of helping 20 million people, because helping 20 million people by 2020 is nothing more than what some of our Australian friends called a big hairy arse goal. Because that answers the what, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't get us to the intention, the why as to what we're doing. And the why is that we want to reduce inequalities in leadership learning in society. So you see, the opposite to fear is also about the power of giving and sharing. Because if you have purpose and passion, and you've got skills and you've got a gift to share it. Because when you share it, it's amazing what happens to your fear. And if you use social media and use it in the right way, you begin to build up tenacity. You begin to build this small number of people that you need to get things going. Because the combination of purpose, passion, knowing why you want to do something, starts to create conversations, and conversation lead to relationships. And those relationships begin to help you as an individual to build up social capital. And the more that you build up your social capital, the bigger your community becomes, and the more likelihood you're going to get your outcome. So, Leaders Cafe started with one person, and we're now a global organization, And this has all been done in a matter of 18 months. And this is just a sample of the people around the world who are supporting Leaders Cafe. And here are a sample of organisations that Leaders Cafe is now discussing about partnership with Leaders Cafe. And our journey has only just begun. That is my view of the opposite of fear. It's about understanding what your purpose is, what your passion is, and it's understanding how those two things can be combined to allow you to find something that's worth changing, and then use social media to go about making that change by identifying the small number of people who will help you on your journey.